What's up guys? The next video in the Naxxramas boss guide. The Plague Quarter in Naxxramas is home to 3 bosses, and in this video, we'll be going over the first one you'll encounter, Noth the Plaguebringer. Let's get into it. Noth has 4 main abilities. Periodically throughout the fight, he will cast Curse of the Plaguebringer, which puts a debuff on multiple targets that lasts 10 seconds. This needs to be decursed immediately. If it isn't decursed in 10 seconds, it will turn into Wrath of the Plaguebringer, which deals large amounts of nature damage and jumps to other players in the raid. If the curse escalates to Wrath of the Plaguebringer, it's pretty much a guaranteed wipe. To help with the decursing, mages and druids can be assigned to groups to make sure that the 10 seconds isn't hit. Every 30 seconds in the fight, Noth will use Summon Skeletons. This ability summons multiple plague warriors at bone piles in the room. Off-tanks need to be ready to pick up these skeletons, and ranged DPS will be in charge of DPSing them down. Noth will teleport up to his balcony 3 times during the fight, once at 90 seconds into the fight, then 110 seconds after the first teleport, and then 180 seconds after the second teleport. In the first teleport, Noth will summon 2 waves of Plague Champions. In the second teleport, he will summon a wave of Plague Champions, followed by a wave of Plague Guardians. And in the third teleport, he will summon 2 waves of Plague Guardians. Noth will not be targetable until the waves are cleared. Once cleared, he will blink back down into the center of the room, hitting any nearby players with Cripple, which is a dispellable debuff that slows players. Blink also wipes the threat table, so the main tank needs to be dispelled immediately so that he can intercept the boss and start building threat. Noth will periodically blink around his room during the fight as well, and will again need that Cripple dispelled so that he can pick up the boss again. Each of the 3 different types of summoned skeletons in this fight have different abilities. The Plagued Warrior that spawn every 30 seconds have a Cleave ability. Nothing too much to worry about here. Off tanks, just make sure you tank them facing away from the raid. One thing to note with the Plague Warriors is that they are summoned every 30 seconds, even if it's during one of the skeleton waves that happens during teleport. Plague Champions have 2 abilities. They have Immortal Strike, which reduces healing by 50%, so healers need to be ready to keep the off tanks up when Mortal Strike is applied. Shadow Shock deals significant shadow damage to the off tank. They can take a greater shadow protection potion to help mitigate this damage. Priests should also put up shadow protection on the off tanks to help as well. Plague Guardians are the most dangerous of the 3 skeletons. They have an arcane explosion that does massive AoE damage. Luckily, they are stunnable, so they should be stun locked as long as possible to minimize the amount of raid damage that goes out. Lastly, the kill priority for these skeletons is the Guardians at highest priority, then the Champions, with the Warriors being the last priority. Now that we know the abilities, let's walk through the fight. The main tank will pick up Noth, and 3 off tanks will each station themselves at one of the bone piles to pick up the summoned skeletons. Whenever Curse of the Plaguebringer is cast, mages and druids need to decurse as fast as possible, so that it doesn't escalate to Wrath of the Plaguebringer. When skeletons are summoned, the melee should stay on Noth while the range DPS them down. When Noth teleports up to his balcony, the DPS should be evenly split on each of the 3 bone piles to DPS down the 2 waves of summoned skeletons, prioritizing the Guardians first, followed by the Champions, and then the Warriors. If at any point the skeletons get too much, priests can use Shackle Undead to give the raid a little more time to kill them all. Reminder to stun lock the Plague Guardians in the 2nd and 3rd teleport phases so that they don't use as many arcane explosions. Once the waves are cleared and Noth blinks down into the room, the DPS need to hold off until the main tank can establish a threat lead. Also, a healer needs to be ready to dispel the cripple off the main tank so that they can easily pick up Noth. Once the threat is established, the raid should be back in their original positions and DPS the boss down and kill the skeletons when they're summoned. And that's about it. Rinse and repeat till the boss is dead. There you have it guys, the first boss in the Plague Quarter is down. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button and check out my other videos to support the channel.